I stare at my laptop, blinking hard, hoping the numbers on the screen will shift, rearrange themselves, do anything other than what they're doing. But they don't. The balance should say $48,500. My whole college fund. My safety net. My future. Instead, it spits out a mocking zero. My chest tightens. Blood pounds in my ears. My fingers freeze above the keyboard, desperate for some sign this is just a glitch. I hit refresh. The zero stays. No. I whisper it to nobody, to my empty Boston apartment. No, no, no. The UTMA account my grandparents opened when I was born, the one my dad, Garrett, has always managed, the one that was supposed to get me through my last year of architecture school at Northeastern, gone. Empty. My hands shake as I grab my phone. Outside, the spring sunshine soaks the city in gold, but it feels like a punchline now. I dial my dad's number, the Indiana area code burned into my brain since I was a kid. 1 ring. 2. Then his voice, big and confident as ever. Nadia. How's my college girl? I swallow, trying to force words out past the knot in my throat. Dad. I'm looking at my UTMA account. It's empty. He pauses. It's long enough that I know he's not surprised. Oh, that. His voice shifts, not an ounce of guilt, just casual, almost bored. Yeah, I had to move some things around. Just borrowed it for a stock opportunity. Market's prime for investment right now, great timing. The room spins a little, and I grab my desk to steady myself. You borrowed $48,500 without telling me? Listen, honey, it's not a big deal. You're smart, you'll figure it out. Take a semester off, get one of those modeling jobs they're always offering you. Don't worry about it. His brush-off burns away the shock. Anger flares up, hot and sharp. That money was for my education, I say, but my voice sounds strange, far away. Grandma and Grandpa set it up for college. You can't just take it. He sighs, like I'm a kid who doesn't get simple math. Family helps family, Nadia. This is a great opportunity for all of us. I close my eyes, and suddenly I'm back at those neighborhood barbecues, Dad holding court, taking credit for our neat little colonial house. But really, it was Mom, Claire, who kept us afloat, working double shifts at Harrison's Market, waiting tables at the Wharf Diner late into the night. All while Garrett Vance played family man, PTA treasurer, community hero. He loved the role. That's all it ever was. Dad, I need that money back. Now. Tuition's due in 3 weeks. He snaps. Don't be so dramatic. You're 24. Time to stand on your own 2 feet instead of expecting handouts. My laugh comes out hollow. Handouts? That was my money. Legally mine. I've got a meeting. We'll talk later. He hangs up. Just like that. I stare at my phone, my hand shaking so hard I almost drop it. I force myself to breathe, 3 deep breaths, then I call him back. He picks up on the 4th ring, already annoyed. What, Nadia? You need to put that money back. Today. My voice is stronger now, fueled by something new and fierce. He just gets colder. Family matters more than money. Maybe it's time you quit wasting energy on school. With your looks, you could be making real money modeling. Use what God gave you instead of racking up more debt. That hits like a slap. For years of late nights, Dean's List, a real portfolio, flattened to how I look in front of a camera. I'm not quitting school. And I'm not using my looks instead of my brain. I need my money back. He doesn't budge. Call me when you're thinking straight about what matters. He hangs up again. This time, I don't call back. I open my banking app and pull up every statement from the last year. They pop up fast, and suddenly the betrayal is all there, black and white. January 3rd, withdrawal, $2,000, then $500. January 17th, $3,000 gone. February 2nd, another $2,000, then $500. The same routine, small enough to dodge alerts, spaced out over 8 weeks. Careful. Calculated. The last withdrawal, $3,000 on March 28th, wipes it all out. I dig deeper, reading up on UTMA accounts. The money should have been fully mine when I turned 21. For 3 years, he's kept his grip on it, feeding me nonsense about his name needing to stay on for tax reasons. The room suddenly feels tiny, like the walls are pressing in on me. That's what happens when you realize just how deep someone's lies go. My own dad, who's spent my whole life lecturing me about honesty and responsibility, has been stealing from me. Not once or twice. Systematically. For years. I kind of always knew the trust between us was fragile, but now it's not just cracked, it's in pieces. I brush away a tear, open my laptop, and stare at the evidence. This isn't just a family drama anymore. It's my life on the line. Finals are coming up in 2 weeks, then an internship interview. No savings, no backup plan, nothing. But I do have the truth, every awful detail saved and backed up. And I've got this weird, angry determination burning in my chest, drowning out the fear. Ever found out someone you loved was lying to you? Felt that sick punch in your gut? That's me right now. The next day, I take the bus from Boston to Indianapolis. It takes almost 15 hours. Most of it I spend staring at endless fields and tiny towns, running through conversations in my head that I know will never happen. What do you even say to your dad after he stole your future? I get to the Greyhound station a little after 6. No one's there. I didn't tell anyone exactly when I'd arrive, partly because bus schedules are a joke, but mostly because I wanted to be alone for a bit before facing them. The Indiana air is thick and humid as I walk the 12 blocks to our house in Carmel. Each step feels heavier. My phone buzzes. Mom, dinner at 7. Your favorite lasagna. The house looks smaller than I remember. The blue shutters are faded, probably from too many years of Midwestern sun and storms. I stop at the end of the walkway, looking at the hedges and the old birdbath Mom picked up at a garage sale a decade ago. Picture perfect, middle-class respectability. What a joke. Dad's silver Buick gleams in the driveway. Of course he washed it. He always keeps up appearances. Mom opens the door before I can fish out my key. She hugs me tight. She smells like tomato sauce and that lavender lotion she's always used. There's my college girl, she says, smiling for real, but her eyes are so tired. She's just finished a shift at Harrison's and will head to the Wharf Diner by 9. Your father's in the dining room setting the table. I force a smile. Great. Dad stands up straight when I walk in, arms out for a hug. I let him. Nadia, look at you. Boston's turned you into a real sophisticated lady. I pull away fast. It's only been a semester since Christmas, Dad. Well, you look different. He gestures to the table. Your mother's outdone herself. I watch him while he pulls out my chair, playing the perfect father. During dinner, Mom asks about finals and my internship. I answer on autopilot, not taking my eyes off Dad as he cuts his lasagna into neat squares and wipes his mouth. He looks the same as ever, confident, relaxed, the respected office admin, PTA treasurer, barbecue king. Halfway through dinner, he suddenly announces, financial responsibility is what separates successful people from failures. With inflation these days, you really have to be careful with your money. The lasagna tastes like sawdust. I put down my fork. Is that right? I say. Absolutely. I've been reading about sound investment strategies. The key is knowing when to seize opportunities. Mom nods along, clearly too wiped out to catch the irony. I bite my tongue until I taste blood. After dinner, Dad says he has a work meeting and leaves. Mom loads the dishwasher even though I tell her to rest. I'll just lie down for an hour, she promises, slumping upstairs. There's pie in the fridge if you want dessert. When she's gone, I wait 15 minutes, listening to the house creak and settle. Then I slip into Dad's office. The door isn't locked. Why would it be? His word has always been law here. His space, his rules until now. The room smells like his sandalwood aftershave. A folded newspaper sits next to a mug that says World's Greatest Dad. I check the desk drawers, nothing but pens, paper clips, old checkbooks. The file cabinet is a shrine to paperwork, tax returns, warranties, insurance forms, all stacked perfectly. I start to wonder if I've lost my mind, then spot his navy jacket hanging on the back of the door. My hands shake as I reach into the pockets. Right pocket, car keys, half a roll of mints. Left pocket. Folded paper, a handful of slips. My heart's pounding as I smooth them out on the desk. Casino chip receipts, Silver Star Casino. One for $500, another for $1,000, and a third for $2,500. All of them from just this past month. The truth hits me hard, almost physical. He didn't put my college fund into stocks. He gambled it away. I drop into his desk chair, the receipts fanned in front of me. Something in me locks into place. I move to his computer. The password's a pain, my birthday, mom's birthday, finally, their anniversary. Got it. Browser history? Clean slate. But his email's still open. I type in Silver Star and get a flood of promo emails, VIP offers, event invites, stacks of them, going back months. I send a few to print. Next, I dig into his files. There it is, a folder labeled Finances Personal. I pull his credit card statement. My hands go cold. ATM withdrawal, Silver Star Casino, $300. ATM withdrawal, Silver Star Casino, $500. Then $750. Over and over. Page after page. I print these too. His wallet's next. Behind his driver's license, I find a plastic card. Silver Star Casino, Diamond Club. Gold letters. Top of the loyalty program. My chest tightens. Then footsteps on the stairs. Shit. I shove everything back where it belongs, except the printed papers, which I fold and stuff in my pocket. I've just closed the browser when Mom appears in the doorway. Thought you might like some tea, she says, holding out a steaming mug. Her hands are red, knuckles cracked, nails trimmed close. Working hands. Honest hands. Thanks, Mom, I say, feeling guilt twist with anger inside me. You okay? You've been quiet tonight. I force a smile. Just tired from the trip. She nods, believing me, because that's who she is, she trusts, doesn't look for lies. I should get ready for my shift. She turns to go, but the front door swings open. Dad's voice booms, Claire, is there any of that lasagna left? In the fridge, Garrett, she calls back. He stops short when he sees me at his desk. His eyes narrow, but then he's all smiles. Studying in my office? Lighting's better here, huh? Just checking email, I lie. I watch him. His eyes flick to the screen, then the desk. Find everything you need? Actually, yeah. I don't look away. I found exactly what I was looking for. Something in his face twitches. Weariness, calculation gone in a flash. Good to hear, he says, voice light. Then to Mom, you heading out soon? Want me to warm up the car? I've got time. Nadia and I were just chatting. Dad's phone buzzes. He looks at it, then at us. I need to take this. Work stuff. He ducks into the hall and closes the door. Mom sighs. Always working, that one. I don't know how he does it. I sip my tea to keep from blurting out what I know. Not yet. Not until I'm sure. When she leaves to change, I text Aunt Maya. Need to talk. Legal question. Can you video call tomorrow at 2? She replies quick, of course. Everything okay? I stare up at the cracked ceiling of my old room, the receipts practically burning a hole in my pocket. No, I text back. But it will be. That night, I'm reading in bed when Dad knocks. He doesn't wait, just opens the door and leans in, arms crossed. I saw you in my office earlier, he says, voice low. Looking through my things. I put my book down. I found the casino receipts. A flash of anger, then he's calm again. Those weren't mine. I was holding them for a coworker. Really? And the Diamond Club card? The ATM withdrawals? The VIP emails? All for a coworker? His voice snaps. You had no right to go through my personal stuff. What I do with my money is my business. It wasn't your money, I say, my voice shaking. It was mine. My college fund. The one Grandma and Grandpa set up. You emptied it for your gambling addiction. Keep your voice down, he hisses, glancing at the hall. Your mother doesn't need to hear your wild accusations. Wild accusations? I have proof, Dad. Printed copies of everything. Something dangerous flickers in his eyes. You're making a mistake, Nadia. No, I say, steady now. The mistake was trusting you with my future. He stares at me a long time, then leaves, shutting the door hard behind him. I wait until his footsteps fade, then pull out my phone. I text Aunt Maya, change of plans. We need a 3-way call with Mom, and I need you to bring everything you know about UTMA laws. That night, I lay out the evidence, piece by piece, building a timeline. The betrayal, the stealing, the lies, every detail. Tomorrow, the three of us will talk, and my father's years of secrets are finally about to come out. Would you face the family member who stole from you? Or would you keep quiet for the sake of peace? What would you risk? 2 days later, I'm standing under the harsh fluorescent lights in Aunt Maya's law office. Her desk, usually spotless, now looks like mission control, legal pads covered in notes, stacks of documents, tabs sticking out everywhere. She types fast, each keystroke sharp. This custodial breach is clear-cut, she mutters, not looking up. What Garrett did wasn't just wrong. It's illegal. I set down her coffee, black, 1 sugar, just how she's always liked it. The smell cuts through the sterile air. Outside, the sky over Indianapolis is gray heavy. It matches what I feel inside. Will it hold up? I ask. My voice is steady, but my hands shake. Dad's always talked his way out of everything. Maya finally looks at me. Her eyes narrow, just like Mom's when she's determined. Charm doesn't work on legal documents, honey. Numbers don't lie. She swivels her monitor so I can read the letter on the screen. It's cold, official. Phrases jump out at me. Demand for immediate restitution. Breach of fiduciary duty. This goes out today, certified mail. She hands me a copy. No more talking, no more second chances. We're past that. I just nod, running my finger along the edge of the paper. How's Mom doing with her lawyer? Janice's the best divorce attorney in the state. Your mom brought 20 years of records. Maya almost smiles. Claire Vance might have been quiet all these years, but she kept receipts. Literal ones. That night, Maya's kitchen becomes our war room. The oak table, where we always ate holiday dinners, is covered in documents and 3 mugs of tea. Mom sits across from me, out of her waitress uniform for once, finally still. She pushes a shoebox toward me. I found these in the attic. Inside, faded bank statements from before I was born. Your father's gambling isn't new, Mom says. I thought he stopped when we had you. Maya lays out the papers, lining them up in order. This shows a pattern. It matters. I watch Mom's face. Resignation hardens into something else, anger, maybe, or determination. I worked double shifts for 20 years, she says, voice quiet. I thought I was building something, our home, your future. She stops, pain written across her face. All while he was. She doesn't finish. Maya reaches over, covers Mom's hand. Family doesn't mean you get a free pass. Mom nods, shoulders straightening. No, it doesn't. 2 days later, Dad gets Maya's letter at Midwest Assurance Partners, the office he's run for 15 years. I'm not there to see his reaction, but I get it on voicemail a few hours later. Nadia, this is ridiculous. His voice is strained, missing that old confidence. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. Call me. We need to talk about this legal nonsense. I don't call back. Later that night, another message. This is your father. I raised you better than this. I only borrowed that money for the family. Everything I've done was for you. Call me. The third message comes at midnight. Slurred, angry. You think you can threaten me? With lawyers? I'm your father. I changed your diapers. I drove you to school. I supported your ridiculous architecture dreams when you could have done something practical. This is how you repay me? By humiliating me? The next morning, I play the messages for Mom and Maya. Mom's face goes pale, then flushes with anger. Those dreams weren't ridiculous, she says. You were drawing buildings before you could write your name. That afternoon, my phone rings. Cousin Leah. Your dad called us, she says, getting right to it. He says you're trying to ruin him over some misunderstanding about college money. What did you tell him? I ask, my heart pounding. That he should pay you back what he took, Leah says, her voice hard. Then he called you dramatic and ungrateful. Said you've always been the difficult one. That's when I start recording. The file Leah sends me later is a parade of my father's desperate lies, each one more tangled than the last. I'd said yes to the loan. I was the one who spent the money, then turned around and blamed him. I even told people my mom had mental problems, couldn't trust her. That night, after her shift at the Wharf Diner, Mom called me. Her voice was off, hollow, but somehow steadier than usual. I broke down tonight, she said, right in the middle of serving table 12 their meatloaf special. "Mom, I'm so sorry." "Don't be." She sounded different. It was subtle, but something had shifted. Sandra from the kitchen sat me down in the break room. Then Rosie came in and Jim from the grill. I pictured the diner staff, people who'd watched me grow up, all those afternoons I'd spent at Mom's work, gathering around her. She went on. "They've seen it all, you know. How tired I've been. How your father never showed up to anything at my job but expected me at all his events. How he'd stop by and ask to borrow my tip money." I heard a light tinkling over the phone. "What was that?" I asked. "My wedding ring," she said. "I just took it off." There was a tiny note of wonder in her voice. 26 years, and it just slides right off, like it never belonged there. I pressed my hand to my mouth, holding back tears. "I'm wiping tables right now," she said, suddenly matter-of-fact, with bare hands. "Do you know how strange that feels? Like I've been wearing invisible gloves for years." The next morning, Dad found himself locked out. Mom changed the locks overnight. Jim from the diner helped her. His key cards for the bank accounts didn't work anymore. Maya made sure of that when she sent the demand letter. He started calling the neighbors. Mom told me during our morning check-in, "He's telling everyone I'm having a breakdown, that you've turned against him." Does anyone believe him? Carol next door told him she's seen his car at Silver Star Casino, more than enough to know who's got the problem. Mom gave a laugh, but there was no joy in it. People aren't as blind as he thinks. Dad's perfect reputation was falling apart. The PTA treasurer who loved preaching about fiscal responsibility. The guy who hosted the neighborhood barbecues and complained about those people who couldn't manage money. The dad who made me learn to balance a checkbook when I was 12. And all the while, he was siphoning away my future. "You're flying back to Boston tomorrow," Aunt Maya told me that evening, handing over my flight info. "I'll handle things here. Court stuff will take months. You need to focus on your degree." Her expression softened just a little. "That's the best revenge, you know. Succeeding anyway." I looked at my flight confirmation, then at Mom sitting at the kitchen table, her bare finger brushing her ring finger every so often, maybe just checking that it was really gone. "I can't finish school without that money," I said. Maya didn't waver. "You'll get it back. Every penny, with interest. I already filed the emergency injunction." Mom looked up. "And I'm selling the dining room set your father insisted we needed. It'll cover your books for next semester." She glanced around at the old table and chairs. I looked from one woman to the other, their faces so similar, marked by totally different lives. One who fought out loud, one who just kept going quietly. Now, neither one was backing down. Something opened up in my chest. Not just determination, I'd always had that. This was bigger. The certainty that I wasn't fighting alone. "Okay," I said, straightening up. "I'll finish my degree. And Dad's finally going to face what he's done." Mom nodded, a single tear sliding down her cheek. "Some things matter more than peace, honey. Some fights are worth it." Outside, the streetlights started popping on one after another. Tomorrow, I'd be back in Boston, back to models, blueprints, and the future I refused to give up. Behind me, these women, my real foundation. Stronger than anything I'd ever design. A month later, the courthouse in Indianapolis rose in front of me, all sandstone, all serious. My hands shook a little as I smoothed my charcoal pencil skirt, the best armor I had against what waited inside. Aunt Maya walked beside me, briefcase swinging, heels tapping out a steady, confident beat on the marble. "Ready?" she asked, her hand warm on my shoulder. I just nodded. Didn't trust myself to speak. We went through the doors, past security, down a hallway that smelled like old furniture and polish and faded hopes. I saw him right away, Dad, sitting with his lawyer, head bent close. He wore his Sunday suit, the one for impressing people, and that practiced look of the concerned father. The mask I used to believe in, no questions asked. Our eyes met. His flickered with panic, just for a second, before he settled into righteous indignation. "All rise." The bailiff calls out, and we stand as Judge Torres walks in. Her hair's cut in a sharp silver bob, and her glasses sit low on her nose. "Vance versus Vance," she says, flipping through the papers in front of her. Custodial account dispute. Dad's lawyer goes first. Mr. Davies, another silverhead, but his words are even smoother than his hair, stands up, all solemn and dignified. Your Honor, this is just a family misunderstanding, he says, sounding so reasonable it almost makes me laugh. My client thought he was acting in the family's best interest during a temporary financial challenge. I swallow and bitterness creeps up my throat. Temporary. That word hits like a slow-acting poison. Aunt Maya stands next. Her voice is cool, every word measured. Your Honor, this wasn't a misunderstanding. We have clear evidence of systematic withdrawals over 8 weeks, totaling $48,500. This is a breach of fiduciary duty under the Uniform Transfers to Minors Act. She lays out the evidence, bank statements, text messages, even phone calls where Dad admits taking the money. With every new piece, Judge Torres's face grows harder. Finally, she looks up at Dad, peering over her glasses. Mr. Vance, these withdrawals look deliberate and calculated. What's your explanation? Dad stands, straightening his tie. Even now, that gesture tugs at something inside me. Your Honor, I've always put family first, he says, voice steady, practiced. This money was for Nadia's future. I plan to invest it for a better return than just letting it sit. And where are those investments now, Mr. Vance? Judge Torres asks. Dad shifts in his seat. There were some unexpected market fluctuations. One of the judge's eyebrows goes up. I see. An hour later, we're in the settlement room. The court mediator sits between us, Dad and his lawyer on one side, Aunt Maya and me on the other. No pretense of family here. Dad leans in. I can offer $12,000 now. The rest in payments over 5 years. Aunt Maya doesn't even look at me. Full repayment plus 5% interest. Non-negotiable. Dad's face flushes. That's unreasonable. I don't have that kind of money. The mediator cuts in, calm but firm. Then wage garnishment is the alternative. Federal law allows up to 25% of disposable earnings until the debt is paid. Dad turns to me, eyes pleading now. You'll ruin me financially. Something rises up inside me. My voice comes out quiet, but it doesn't shake. Like you tried to ruin my future? He flinches. I might as well have slapped him. That afternoon, we're back for Mom's divorce hearing, same courthouse, different room. Dad looks hollow now, that confident glow gone. Mom's lawyer lays out the proof. Mortgage fraud, credit cards in her name, money siphoned off for gambling. Mrs. Vance worked 2 jobs believing she was supporting her daughter's education, the lawyer says. Instead, Mr. Vance diverted funds and stacked up debt in her name. Dad tries to protest, Claire knew everything, but it fizzles out. Mom's attorney has years of forged statements. The judge doesn't bother hiding his disgust. There's clear evidence of financial misconduct. Mom sits 3 seats away from me, hands folded tight. When the judge delivers his decision, her shoulders drop just a little, like she's finally set down something heavy. Later, back in Judge Torres's courtroom, she signs off on our settlement. Dad owes the full $48,500 plus 5% interest. Wage assignment, garnishment, 25% of his pay until it's settled. This is the minimum consequence for such a violation of trust, she says. Dad's mask crumbles. Shock washes over him. He really thought he'd talk his way out, same as always. Outside, sunlight hits my face. It's warm, but it doesn't feel good. I've won, technically, but it's empty. Aunt Maya squeezes my hand. You did the right thing, she whispers. I nod. I watch Dad shuffle out, shoulders slumped, his lawyer murmuring to him. He looks so much older now. Smaller. I turn away. I know, I say. But doing the right thing still hurts. How do you even measure trust and honesty in a family? Is there any amount too small to fight for when it comes to what's right? For crimson tickets sit on my kitchen table, bold and bright as the sun slips through the blinds. I trace the embossed university seal with my finger, feeling the decision settle deeper every time I do. 4 tickets. I say it out loud, though nobody's here to hear me. They catch the afternoon light in perfect little rectangles, lined up like a promise I fought hard to keep. I already know who gets them. Mom. Aunt Maya. Sophia and Trevor, my two closest friends. Not Garrett Vance. Not the man who almost ruined everything. My phone buzzes. Dad again. Fifth text today. When should I book my flight? Need to request time off work. He talks like showing up is a given. That familiar anger starts up in my chest, hot and sharp. I breathe, steady my hands, and type back, I only have 4 tickets. I've given them to Mom, Aunt Maya, Sophia, and Trevor. I can't accommodate you at the ceremony. His reply lands instantly. This is ridiculous. I'm your father. Of course I'll be there. My hand shakes as I set the phone down, face down on the table. It's been 6 months since the court order. 6 months of wage garnishment trickling in. 6 months of him switching between guilt trips and demands for thanks, like paying back what he stole makes him a hero. My phone lights up again, message after message. You wouldn't even have a graduation without me. I worked for years to support your education. What will people think when your father isn't there? That one almost makes me laugh. If they knew the truth, how he gambled my college fund away, how a court had to force him to repay it, what would they think then? I silence the phone and pack my cap and gown, pushing his voice out of my head. Graduation morning is perfect. Boston glitters under a sky so blue it doesn't look real. Mom and Aunt Maya show up with coffee and pastries, and Mom's eyes are already shining. She looks lighter now, free. There are new lines on her face, but she carries them well. The divorce wrapped up last month, and, honestly, freedom suits her. Stop it, Claire, you'll ruin your makeup before we even leave, Aunt Maya teases. Her voice is gentle. She hands me a garment bag. Let me hang this up for you, so your robe doesn't wrinkle. At the hotel, Mom sits me at the vanity and pulls out a small velvet box. This was your grandmother's, she says, opening it to show a delicate silver pendant shaped like an architect's compass. She wore it when she worked as a draftsman in the 60s. Not many women did that then. I touch the pendant. I didn't know she was in architecture. She wasn't allowed to advance, Mom says, fastening it around my neck. But she'd be so proud of what you've done. The pendant is cool against my skin. Tears sting, but I hug her tight anyway, breathing in her familiar smell, coffee, and that grocery store lotion she always uses. Thank you for everything, I say. You did this yourself, she tells me, firm but soft. Despite everything. A knock at the door interrupts us. Sophia and Trevor barge in, arms full of flowers and a huge handmade banner. Nadia Vance, architect extraordinaire. The procession itself feels unreal. Hundreds of us, all in the same robes and caps, moving across the quad toward the pavilion. Parents and friends line the walkways, waving, snapping photos. I spot Mom, Aunt Maya, Sophia, and Trevor in their seats, beaming with pride that's real and earned. Then I see him. Garrett Vance, right at the entrance, face set and stubborn. He's in a new suit, probably just for today, and the bouquet of roses he's holding looks ridiculous, way too big. My steps falter, just for a second, but the crowd keeps moving me forward. He tries to push past the usher, voice booming. That's my daughter, Nadia Vance. She only made it because of my sacrifices. People turn, start whispering. My cheeks burn, but I keep walking. I can't stop. I can't hide. Sir, you need a ticket, the usher says, not backing down. I'm her father, Garrett shouts, louder than before. I deserve to be here. I paid for all this. From where I stand, I see Aunt Maya rise, calm and confident, that attorney's poise unmistakable even from a distance. She moves straight toward him, ready to handle it. You don't have a ticket, she says. Her voice is calm, but everyone can hear her. You don't belong here. Get out of my way, Maya. Garrett snaps, loud enough so half the row turns to look. I deserve the front row. I'm her father. No, Maya stands her ground. You weren't invited. Not by anyone. 2 security guys show up. They're polite, but you can tell there's no room for discussion. Sir, the tall one says, we need to see your ticket or you'll have to leave. Garrett's voice gets even louder, practically echoing. This is ridiculous. That's my daughter up there. I have every right to watch her graduate. Sir, the officer says again, leave now or we'll escort you out. Do you know who I am? Garrett demands, his face flushed red. I'm Garrett Vance. I've given everything for her. She wouldn't even be here without me. The security guards glance at each other, then each grabs one of his arms. No, this is outrageous. Garrett tries to shake them off. Nadia, tell them who I am. Tell them I'm your father. I can't move. I'm stuck in line, mortified. Everyone is watching. My classmates are shuffling and whispering. One friend squeezes my elbow, and I'm grateful for it. Security starts dragging Garrett to the exit. He's still shouting about his rights as a parent, his voice breaking, getting more desperate with every step. You can't do this to me. I'm her father. I've done everything for her. Finally, they get him out of the pavilion. I expect to feel crushed by embarrassment, but instead, I feel lighter. Relieved. There's no hiding anymore. Everyone just saw the truth of our relationship. No more pretending. I meet my mother's eyes across the crowd. She looks worried, but when I give her a small nod, she lets out a breath and relaxes. Aunt Maya slips back into her seat, smooths her skirt, her hands steady as ever. The ceremony goes on. Then, they call my name. I walk across the stage, head up, diploma in hand. For voices cheer louder than all the others, my real supporters. For the first time, it hits me, family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about honesty, respect, and who actually shows up when it matters. The 4 people who earn those tickets, they get it. As my name booms from the speakers and I grip my degree, I finally get it too. Ever had to draw a line with someone you love who let you down? What did that feel like right in the moment? A month later, candlelight flickers across the faces of my dinner companions at Luciano's, this tucked-away spot in Boston. Mom's eyes, usually tired, now shine with something new. Aunt Maya lifts her glass, her lawyer edge softened by pride. To Nadia, she says, her voice rising over the hum of the room. She didn't just graduate, she fought for her future and won. Sophia and Trevor, my 2 best friends, clink their glasses with mine. They were there for those nights when I thought I'd never make it. I never doubted you, Mom says, reaching over and squeezing my hand. Not for a second. The truth hangs in the air. This dinner is nothing like the big, fancy parties my dad used to throw. Those were always about him, never about me. I have something to say, I tell them, surprised my voice doesn't shake. I raise my glass to these women, my safety net. Without you, I might have given up. You didn't just help me get back what I lost. You showed me what real support looks like. Mom's eyes shine as she smiles. Sophia leans in, her portfolio peeking out of her bag. Speaking of support, tell them about Harrington and Clay. My face gets warm. I accepted their offer yesterday. Junior designer, starting next month. The table cheers, loud enough to turn heads. And once everyone settles down, I tell them about the new apartment near the Commons, the one with the breakfast nook that's perfect for drafting. Mom's face shifts, just a little. Is it affordable? Every penny is mine, I tell her. My salary covers it. What I don't mention is how I've budgeted every dollar or that Garrett's garnished wages just started landing in my account. The first one came in yesterday, $1,105.40. Just a number, cold and impersonal, where a father's love should be. Your turn, Mom, I say, nudging the attention away from me. Tell them about your new place. She straightens, and for the first time in years, she looks almost free. Just a small apartment near Harrison's. The windows catch the morning sun. That's when her voice sounds steadier. Now there's just one job to focus on. Aunt Maya raises her glass, divorce papers finalized on Tuesday, she says, to new beginnings for both Vance women. Sunday morning comes with soft spring light pouring into my room. The phone rings, Mom's name pops up. Just checking in, she says, sounding lighter than I remember. We talk about nothing in particular, just drifting from topic to topic, until she goes quiet. I should have seen the signs years ago, Nadia. She almost whispers it. All those late nights, he always said he was working. I cut in, he fooled us both, Mom. Remember when he insisted he needed that fancy leather briefcase for work, and then months later we found it in the garage, packed with candy wrappers? She laughs, the sound catching me off guard. Something inside me eases, something I didn't know was tight. Later, I wander through Boston Common, feeling lighter even with everything that's happened. Students are spread out across the grass, books open, soaking up the sun. Up ahead, a young woman hugs a pile of architecture textbooks, nearly dropping them. I hurry forward, grabbing one as it slips. Structural engineering principles. I read off the cover, grinning. Second year? She nods, out of breath. These things are brutal. I offer to help. Turns out I'm heading the same way. Walking beside her, I catch a glimpse of myself in her determined look. That evening, I'm at my little desk, laptop open to a confirmation email. My new savings account, triple security, all that, waits for its first deposit. I move some money over and watch the numbers climb. Each dollar feels like a small promise I'm making to myself. My phone buzzes. Garrett's name flashes up with a half-visible message. Nadia, you need to reconsider this whole legal. I swipe it away without a second thought. Instead, I pull up the design sketches for my first real project. He tried to take my money, thinking it would steal my future. Turns out, all he did was make me stronger.